school board, so don't vote for me. Vote for the two people that were speaking before I was. I'm not gonna lie, we're always transparent with our organization. I wasn't told that I was supposed to be speaking. Our last event, they just kind of asked questions, and we just told everybody, the answer to those questions. So I prepared a few talking points. How much time do I have?
30 minutes.
Okay. All right, well, I don't have 30 minutes worth, so.
But we'll ask questions.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so if I'm talking about something and you want to help fill some time, just raise your hand.
At the end, because
Okay.
Tom will ask a bunch of questions.
All right, I'll try to last 30 minutes, so we'll see. So the first one, Operation SOAP started back in October of 2024. Basically, it just started with a Facebook post. I'm the founder of it right now, but the original founder was a father, and he just started it with a Facebook post noting that he saw a rise of sexually based crimes against children in the Springfield area and surrounding towns, and saw that the local agencies weren't really doing what we elected them to do or hired them to do to take action against this, and basically just posted a call to action to see if any other dads wanted to start a group and give it our best shot. Yeah.
What does the acronym stand for?
It's not actually an acronym.
Okay.
We get that asked a lot. It was actually, I'm trying to stay G-rated here, but it's a prison joke. Like, don't drop the soap. So,
I think it's for cleaning up the area.
yeah, that's the G answer. I'll take that one. So basically, he just posted on Facebook like, "Hey, are there any dads out there or non-dads, that want to make a change in our community?" And that's how we originated. Just a simple Facebook post, nothing too fancy. So we got to work right away. We catch all our guys on our own terms, and we just wait until we get a message from somebody, and once somebody messages us, we obviously right up front tell them our age, and if they decide to continue the conversation, that's on them. We don't ever push them to incriminate themselves. We don't ever say things that would coerce them to do anything like that. So their conversation is 100% on their terms. So basically that's what we do. Our main goals and missions of this is obviously to catch as many child predators in our area as possible. I think we're at 16 or 17 now since October of 2024. Yeah.
What's been the conviction rate?
So like I said, we just started, so it's 0 right now, but we're hoping every single one is convicted. We have 5 arrests right now, and 5 awaiting trial. We've traveled all the way to Oklahoma and Miami. Yeah.
What's been the reaction from law enforcement to you guys?
So it's been really mixed. We've had some counties, sorry, I'm being quiet. We have some counties that are really for what we're doing. They're like, let us know if you got anything in our area. We're on board with you guys 100%. And then we had some that are not that way at all. They, they're like, we've had one police department straight up tell us, like, don't call us, don't call 911, don't waste our resources. And sadly, that's Springfield. So yeah, that was Springfield. We've got about 9 catches, 9 or 10 in Springfield, and that's why our arrest rate's so low, just because they won't do anything about it.
So since you named them, have you gone to Greene County?
Yeah, I've met with Sheriff Arnott. I've met with the cyber crimes unit at SPD. They both said, hey, we want to work with you, but obviously we can't because of Dan Patterson. I've been very vocal about that since the beginning. But to answer her question, sorry, I kind of cut you off there, but whenever they choose to meet up with one of our decoys, we immediately tell that jurisdiction, like, hey, this is what's going on, this is where the person wants to meet, this is what they plan to do, this is what time, and we coordinate from there. Obviously Bolivar's really receptive to us, and we've gotten, I think, 4 arrests in Bolivar, 1 in Oklahoma.
So comment question. So part of the problem is who the prosecuting attorneys are in the law enforcement system.
Yeah,
The prosecuting attorneys, are they not elected?
they are elected, the main one is.
Yeah, okay.
And it's ultimately up to the elected prosecutor of each jurisdiction whether or not they want to pursue these cases. So if the main prosecutor doesn't want to, then all the prosecutors below him can't do anything about it.
So is the police department an interface? I mean, has it even gotten to the prosecutors in
So-
Greene County, or is it's timing before that?
We've,
Can you repeat her question? She doesn't talk very well.
so are you basically asking, has our evidence made its way to the prosecutor in Greene
Yes.
County?
Yeah.
So, Dan Patterson did interview with KY3 and he claimed,
Dan Patterson.
Dan Patterson is the main prosecutor in Greene County.
Okay.
And he claimed that none of our evidence ever came across his desk, which whenever we were in Springfield and we started out, we always, gave them all of our evidence. So whether or not he was telling the truth or Springfield PD just decided not to give him our evidence, I'm not sure what the answer is there. But we always forwarded it. After they told us to quit calling, obviously I didn't want to get in any legal trouble, so we quit. We didn't want to, get charged with anything for wasting their resources, or obviously if they want to be really mean about it, they could get us with something, I'm sure. So that's basically what happened on that. I'm not sure. We always pursued, charges in Springfield, Greene County. Whether or not it got to his desk, I'm not sure.
Aside from like, sharing, and following your social media accounts, what ways can we support you or citizens support the work you're doing?
I'd say probably sharing our content, liking, interacting with it's the best support we can have. Everyone's always looking for us to say donate, but we at the end of the day, we're gonna do this whether we get donations or not. Up to this point, it's been out of our pocket. We all have full-time jobs. We're all parents. I'm not a parent, but like 90% of our members are. We have like 20 members. We're all parents, and we just do this as a hobby, basically, on our free time after work, weekends when they'd rather be spending time with their family. We're out here catching these guys. So yeah, interacting with our content's honestly the best way to help us grow.
What are your socials?
So we have obviously Facebook, Operation Soap. We have TikTok, Operation Soap as well. We're on X, formerly Twitter, is OpSoapMo. That's all we have right now.
I have a question about the media. I know, I've heard about you from the media, and they did a pro and a con. Was the media supportive of you? Because I know that there was a kind of a slight, are you just in it for the likes, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Where did that slur come from? And,
Are you referring to like how they call us vigilantes too?
Well,
Or just
I
the,
heard that word, but they did a pro of
Yeah.
you and a con.
Which media was doing?
KY3?
I think it was KY3.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that article, but we did.
Really? You're not?
The KY3 one was really good.
Yeah, we went on KY3 last week. I thought that was very good because I fully expect to get smeared on any media we go to interview with. We've been on KY3. We've been on Color 10. We're going on 104.1 Springfield's Talk tomorrow with Nick Reed.
Great.
We've been on Right to Win Ozarks. That was the very first media we've ever had, so shout out to them. But I'd say Color 10 was probably the most bias against us, at least, because obviously they just took the word of Springfield PD and Patterson and copy and pasted their response on there. And then I interviewed with them for like an hour, and they only put one response I gave them. So it's obviously they didn't really care what I had to say. So
So the law enforcement agencies that are not cooperative with you, have they given you any guidance on what they would like for you to do, or they just said hands off, we don't care,
So-
stay out?
when it comes to that, they tell us, they say, to be politically correct, they say we're for 100% what you're doing, but then they give us the generic response of, we want all of your evidence, but I'd rather you not meet up with these guys and make the community aware of who they are. I'd rather you give all of your evidence to us and submit it to us and let us do the work. And I'm like, okay, so we tried that. And we did that with the trafficker we met in Springfield that I mentioned earlier. And like I said, as of this day, he's still messaging our decoy accounts. And legally, we're not really allowed to reply to him because who knows, it may be an ongoing investigation and we might get charged with obstruction if we foil that. So we tried it. I'm not gonna lie, we tried it. I don't like the results that I've seen from doing that. I think it's better if we blast their face on social media, let everybody know, because every single catch we get, we always get messages saying, hey, I knew that guy, or I lived with that guy, or he was my neighbor, or he watched my kids, or that was my ex-boyfriend, or I had kids with that guy. And talking about that, we actually helped 2 moms secure full custody of their kids just based off of our evidence.
In your opinion, do you think that there's anything lawmakers can do to do we need stricter punishments? Do we need longer sentences? What do you think?
So I'll answer this as like a two-part question. I think there definitely needs to be stricter punishments. As of right now, they're basically just getting a slap on the wrist. They're getting like, they'll give them a charge for like 25 years and then they're out in like 5, you know, because obviously all the prisons are overcrowded. Nobody wants sex offenders in the prison anyway. Like Joshua Clark, I don't remember how long he was in prison, but he got out in December and we caught him in what, like February, doing the same thing he was in prison for, which we testified against him and Bolivar, was it a couple weeks ago. That was kind of fun, not really, but and to the other part of your question, I think that if we brought back like a death sentence or something, you know,
Yes.
it'll only take a couple of select individuals to be examples. I know it's kind of extreme, but I really don't care.
It's not extreme.
It
is
It's
not.
not.
So
Not extreme.
if we always get the classic comment on like all of our catches, like bring back public hangings, stuff like that. I mean, you wouldn't really have to go that extreme, but make a few examples and obviously it's gonna die down, you know, tenfold. Like you're not gonna have child predators just so blatant anymore. But I don't know, they're definitely just getting not enough punishment and they're willing to do it right again, right after they get out of prison, and it's just, you know, they don't really care about the punishment. So obviously if it was something very, very strict, very, you know, like impactful to their life, they'd probably think about it twice. But some of these guys are just so demented, they don't care what the punishment is, they just try to get, you know, what they want, so. But,
What's troubling to me is, regardless of the punishment, it sounds like you're not even getting law enforcement to even, you know, pursue a trial or a charge or anything.
yeah,
And so when you turn evidence over and they just say, go away, that just gives that person even more, I mean, they're like,
Gives them
oh.
license, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they realize they're not gonna get in trouble. It's like,
Yeah.
you guys had them, you know,
Yeah.
sicker, and they got away, and the police turned the other eye. I think somehow trying to get law enforcement to cooperate rather than to shove you guys off.
yeah, I mean, that's our goal. We had,
That makes their citizens very vulnerable.
yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of public outcry against Greene County, Springfield PD. I mean, it's not really fair to the Springfield PD, Greene County Sheriff's Office, it's not their fault, they can't do anything. I see a lot of people tagging them and, you know, cussing them up and down, it's not their fault. Cause like I said, we've met with heads of all their departments there, and they wanna work with us, but Dan Patterson, the head prosecutor of Greene County, just won't let them. We had our last catch was James Mark Gray, Springfield. We caught him trying to meet up with a minor, and the very next day he was at the park watching kids. So it's like, you know, people like that, we got tons of messages afterwards saying like, this guy did it to me when I was a kid.
Oh.
And like, obviously we want him to get arrested. We get so many comments saying, hey, you know, why didn't you guys call the cops? I'm like, well, you know, they told us to quit calling, we're wasting their resources. And, you know, we've been such a pain in Dan Patterson's side, you know, he would find the first reason to charge us with something.
Seems to me there's a lot of kids on these sites that are available for these guys. Wouldn't part of the problem be kids getting on these sites?
Yeah, that's a good question. If I was a parent, I would definitely not let my kid have access to certain apps until they're a certain age. That is a big part of the problem. If there weren't any kids on any apps, then obviously this would be a lot harder for child predators to do. To answer that with another response, back in the day, the only way for child predators to get a kid would be just, you know, in person, you know, grab them, or like if they're a family friend or something like that. But nowadays, you have apps where you don't even have to know the victim. That, you know, they could just add the person, start up a conversation, and then slowly turn them against their parents, or sneak them out one night when the parents are, you know, out on the town or something. You know, it's definitely a problem. And what you said, yeah, that these kids probably shouldn't be on these apps at 13, 14. But Facebook, it is allowed. Certain apps, like dating apps, obviously you have to be an adult. But, you know, I was a kid, I lied about everything, so I was on dating apps, and, you know, but, I mean, you're never gonna stop kids being kids, and that's something you're never gonna stop, but we're definitely doing our best to stop child predators from doing what they're trying to do.